So I'm going to do a bit of an unusual thing this morning. At a couple of my groups, past week or so, I have been doing we've been doing a free form write about the meditation interview or conversation. And it's been really interesting. I've gotten some really interesting responses. And then I asked people to email me what they'd done, and only one person emailed it to me. Thank you, Kim. Um, so I'm using, she did a list because, we have autonomy about how we do this everything, including this free form, right? So she did a list, and I decided, oh, wouldn't it be interesting to try to write a talk coming directly from her list? So it's been an interesting creative undertaking. So I'm going to read you the list first, and then I'm going to read you how I freeform wrote from her freeform write. Because in a way, that's exactly what we're doing here. We're impacting each other, hopefully in positive, compassionate, and insightful ways. So I let her thinking impact my thinking, which is really what we do in the interview. So here's her list: remembering more, clarity, insights, autonomy, unburdening, seeing the value of sharing, connection, empathy, reduction of isolation, compassion, a questioning of preconceived ideas. And here's my free form write that comes from the list. Deciding to speak up about your meditation takes courage, a certain kind of courage, the courage to be honest and vulnerable with others, maybe even the courage to be honest and vulnerable with yourself. By this, I mean we often skirt over our aspects of our experience, letting them fade into the past. While at times letting go in this way might be skillful or even an understanding of mainstream meditation instructions, at other times, this kind of skirting can lead to a kind of ignorance. I speak of ignorance in the Buddhist sense of the word, ignoring our truths, ignoring our experience, ignoring our pain, ignoring our values. Now, speaking up in meditation takes courage because it's especially vulnerable when we talk honestly, when we don't sugarcoat our experience, which is a common way people speak in social settings. But on the other hand, we get to speak about our insights and discoveries, hopefully without conceit, but with honesty. So back to the courage of speaking honestly about your meditative experience to others. Well, maybe I never got away from it. This daily online meditation group, this is a drop-in group. And some of the people, as you look around, you might know very well, but others might be strangers still. And so this process of speaking up about our meditation is a process of learning to validate for ourselves that our experience and our relationship to our meditation over the long run is onward leading, is a good process. And again, over time, we develop more tolerance for speaking up in this group. You have autonomy, about your meditative process, of course, but also importantly about when you speak up and what you share. I hope you come to perceive empathy, compassion, and goodwill in this Sangha. And hopefully you have come to feel more connection, not only to one another, but also to this process we do together. That's not what's often done in groups. So we best use discernment and discretion about when to speak up and also about how much to reveal. When we choose to speak up about the hard parts of our experience, the dukkha we experience aloud, it can feel like an unburdening. We're no longer holding this in isolation. Instead, there's something different. Well, we know this from psychology. There's something very different when we feel the hard stuff, the difficulties, the trauma in our life in connection with others. It often doesn't linger as long, or it feels differently. And many times I think people resonate with your meditative experience. So meditation doesn't feel like an isolating experience, which can be an experience. It can feel isolating when you meditate with others in silence and never know what's going on for them. So when we speak to you, the person who's interviewing you about your meditative experience, we collaboratively tease out more awareness, more clarity, more insights, more, well, you finish, you can fill in the mores. There's many mores that hopefully we tease out. And hopefully you start to remember more in the process. And that might happen during the conversation, but it commonly happens afterwards. For example, you might not, we ask a question and you might not have a response. You might not remember. You might not be able to kind of get there when we ask you. But then later on, you tease out more. Hopefully you're left with curiosity. And possibly over the hours and days that follow, you discover more clarity. And maybe very importantly, or most importantly, I'm not sure, we're going to question, and you're going to question preconceived ideas. And we trust that over time, your views, your ideas, your ways of thinking about things, your assumptions will become broader and wiser. So I sincerely hope that you've already discovered or will discover the value of sharing your meditative experience. Okay, well, thank you, Kim. You teased out some more thoughts in me. So